Kneeling Miami Dolphins players horrified at what Florida police officers show up to their game with. Over the past weekend, the national anthem protests continued despite the negative public outcry against them. In Week 7 of the NFL, 22 players kneeled while the anthem played, and several players even went as far as to flash the Black Power salute. These arrogant players claim that the protests are not intended to be disrespectful to the military or veterans but rather meant to draw attention to police brutality and racial inequality in America. However, no matter which way these players attempt to spin their sick protest, they are not gaining any new fans to their misguided cause. So, on Sunday, when Miami Dolphins national anthem protesters arrived at the stadium, they discovered that their actions do have consequences, and it's about time. Last year, when former San Francisco quarterback Colin Kaepernick knelt during the national anthem, it immediately sparked a controversy that has only gained momentum as time has passed. The initial reasoning behind the protest was rooted in the Black Lives Matter ideology that Black Americans were being murdered disproportionately by white police officers in the country. Though, over time, the message has been muddied and now includes players protesting President Trump, racial inequality, and whatever other cause social justice warriors are promoting that week. However, no matter how many times these ungrateful players change their reasoning for the protest, it will always be remembered as a demonstration against law enforcement. Apparently, that fact has not been lost on law enforcement, and they are now pushing back in a big way, as the Miami Dolphins discovered this weekend. Police officers in America lay their lives on the line on a daily basis to protect and serve the American people, but thanks to groups like Black Lives Matter touting their racist agenda, cops are now under attack. So, when players on the Miami Dolphins started to kneel during the national anthem, cops in the area have become upset, which has resulted in a reduced amount of police officers volunteering to protect these entitled players. Here is more from the Miami Herald. The head of the union representing Miami-Dade police officers said there will be less than the ideal number of officers at Hard Rock Stadium for Sunday's Dolphins-New York Jets game after officers eschewed the detail in reaction to Dolphins players' national anthem protests. Dade County Police Benevolent Association President John Rivera said Sunday morning the police presence will be the minimal amount where they feel safe, but I don't think they're going to have the ideal amount. Rivera said 400 officers would be best for a Dolphins-Jets game, which he said is one of the 2 or 3 that generate the most fights in the Hard Rock Stadium stands and create the most problems. He expects there to be 270 officers at Sunday's game, and the department had to mandate certain officers work to reach that number. Those officers will get overtime pay, which is more than the off-duty rate paid to those who volunteered. In a statement to NBC6, Miami-Dade police said, any shortfall in volunteer officers does not necessarily indicate that the game will result in less safety. We are weighing alternate options with our law enforcement and security partners to accomplish the desired outcome. Radio host Andy Slater first reported Thursday that many Miami-Dade police officers were considering refusing to work the off-duty detail in reaction to Dolphins players Michael Thomas, Kenny Stills and Julius Thomas continuing to kneel during the national anthem to protest social injustice and police brutality. After the Dolphins enacted a policy that all players on the field must stand for the anthem, the 3 players remain in the tunnel until the anthem has finished. Since last season, Stills and Michael Thomas, joined by Julius Thomas this season, have participated in programs with local law enforcement and citizens discussing the issues. Rivera said as of Thursday, only 170 officers had signed up for the off-duty detail, and many officers were worried about being pressured by the department to work the detail. So he sent an email, he said, that stated, for those officers who are willing to work or need the money, work. For those who don't want to work it for whatever reason, don't work it. We weren't taking one side or the other. Rivera said Slater accurately quoted the email as including, the irony of all this is that they disrespect the very officers that are there to protect them, the team owners and the property they own. The moral of this story is pretty simple, don't bite the hand that feeds you, or in this case, protects you. There are plenty of worthy causes that NFL players could be drawing attention to, but they instead alienate their fan base and anger law enforcement. Maybe now they will rethink their disrespectful protest and find a new way to promote unity rather than division. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.